Are you stuck in a life that doesn't even feel like your own anymore? You're always saying yes when you really mean no. You feel like you're pleasing everybody, but not yourself. And you feel like life has just escaped away from you. If this feels at all like you, I get it. I've been there. And by the end of this short video, I'm going to give you 3 really powerful tools that you can implement straight away so that you can start saying yes to you, no to the things that no longer serve you, and you can do this all from just 1 minute. So stay tuned. Let's get started. So the very first one that I'm going to talk to you about is recognizing the triggers. And this is understanding why you feel like you have to be a people pleaser. And sometimes this goes back for years, all the way back into maybe your childhood where you were trying to do the right thing, or be the good girl at school or the good little boy at home, and you were trying to please everybody that came into your world. And knowing deep down why this happens helps us to evaluate and say no or stop and pause when things come up for us. So what I want you to do right now is pause the video and go and get a piece of paper and a pen, or you can make a note on your phone, but even better if you can actually handwrite it. And I want you to write down a couple of times recently when you have said yes to something, when something didn't really feel right, when you felt like you were getting torn and overwhelmed because you had too much on your plate, but you could not say no. Now, it might just be one thing or it might be a whole bunch of things. I want you just to take a few moments, just 1 minute, pause the video and write down at least one thing, if not a few things, that made you feel overwhelmed, stressed, felt like you were even adding more onto your multitasking, and that you did not set up your boundaries. And go. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to look at your list, even if it's only one thing, and think about why you said yes to that. Really deep down why you said yes. Was it afraid that you were going to disappoint somebody? Did you feel out of guilt or obligation? Did you feel like you like to be needed? Really just sort of go a little bit deeper and think about why you actually did that, because that helps to understand the process. Okay, so let's get on to step number 2, putting up boundaries. So imagine you've got your sort of space around you, and this is the area that you want to have just for yourself. Sometimes when we build all that scaffolding around us of all the things that we've got to do for others and that we feel like we need to do for others as well, we get enclosed in and we don't have that space for ourselves. So it's about saying no. And believe me, because I've had to do this on my own journey as well, is that it actually does take a little bit of time to get used to, because it does feel quite foreign if you are a people pleaser or you're so used to putting your hand up and saying yes. So what I want you to do is the next time you are asked to do something, instead of just immediately jumping in, it's just, even if it's only for 1 minute, it can be longer, is I want you just to pause before you answer back. And if it doesn't really sit right in your sort of heart or your gut area, which is obviously linked to your brain as well, is just let that pause go a little bit longer. And you could say something like, do you mind if I have some time to think about this? That sounds amazing. I just need to see if it's going to work for me. And you might think, oh, people are not going to like this answer, but believe it or not, they actually will respect you for it. So you could say, I'll get back to you later today or tomorrow, or, by the end of the week. And it gives you a chance just to sit with that a little bit longer. So the first one, like anything, does take a little bit of getting used to, but like anything, the more you practice it, the more you'll be able to do it with a lot more ease. So if you come to that decision a little bit later, so it's the next day and you've told the people I'm going to get back to you, and you still have that feeling like it doesn't really sit right in you, then just say no. Just say, I'm sorry, this is not the right time. I have too much on my plate, or whatever feels right for you to say, and see how that sits. I promise you, The first time, as I said, is the hardest, but it does get easier. So then we go on to number 3, and this is rediscovering actually what lights you up and what you should be spending that time doing instead. It might be just nothing and not really filling it with anything else, but I want you to get that piece of paper right now, and I want you to bring 3 things, maybe 5 things into your mind that bring you joy that you're putting off because you've got so much else on your plate, or you just keep saying yes and yes and yes to more and more things. So deep down, if you could wave a magic wand and you could have a whole day to yourself, what would you do? It might be just literally having a nap, or having some more time to sleep, but it might be going for that bushwalk, or finally taking that art class, or sitting down and starting that book that you've always talked or dreamed about. So I'm going to get you to once again just pause the video just for 1 minute and take this power 1 minute pause to write down a few things that you feel you've been putting off, and maybe next time it'll be easier to say no, because it will mean that you'll be able to slot in that same time for yourself to start one of these, or just completely switch off and enjoy that bit extra time having a sleep or a nap. Awesome. So I hope you spent that 1 minute writing down a couple of things. Maybe you've got a whole list of things that you want to bring back into your life. Not what your family wants, not what your work wants, not what society expects of you, but really deep down, what is something that you could be doing with your precious time if you said no a little bit more? So that wraps it up. So let's think about these. 1, what are our triggers? Why, deep down, do we always want to be needed, want to be liked, want others to ask us to do things, and we put our hand up even though we are already filled up at 99 or 100% capacity? And then saying no, putting the boundaries up, and even if you do say yes, just taking that time to pause just and see how it feels in your body before you jump right in and say yes and then regret it later. And then think about the things that really do light you up. Maybe the things that you have put off for years and years that you would love to do. It could be really as simple as something that's quite small, doing 10 minutes of yoga or Pilates each morning, but you don't feel like you can because you're always just rushing out of that door. So this is all about you. It's about you having your little resets and having that power to pause before you become an internal people pleaser. So before I wrap up for the day, my name is Heidi Horn. I am the founder of the 1 Minute Reset, and I was, like many people, burnt out, overwhelmed, stress. I had a wake-up call, and that led me to having little 1 minute resets through the day so that I could take my foot off the accelerator, pull over, take a breath, and feel like I had my life once again back under control. So if you want some more tips like this, make sure you join my newsletter, or otherwise be one of the first people on the amazing 1 Minute Reset app, which is where we have over 100 tools to reset throughout the day. Whatever age you are, whatever's going on in your life, there is a 1 minute reset for you. So I want you to start today. This is what I would love you to do, is start today and choose one thing that you can do for yourself, even if it is just 1 minute. So deep down, we have one beautiful, precious life, and I want you to enjoy it the much as you can. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you on the next video.